Okay, good evening, everyone. We want to welcome you to our Redox Nurse Talk tonight, and we're excited to have you here. We are so honored and blessed with each guest that we have, and tonight we have a very special guest with a very impressive resume, Dr. Marian Sides, and we will introduce her later in the video, but we want to go over a few things to start with. First of all, I'll state our disclaimer. These redox molecules do not diagnose, treat, or cure any disease. They just give the body what it needs to do its job. So we're going to do a few housekeeping rules. If you step away from your computer, or if you're going to be walking away around doing a lot of things that's very distracting, just put your video back on your profile and just please stay muted until the end. And we'll have a short question and answer session with Dr. Sides if she's open for that. And you can ask your questions at that point. So what we're going to do is show a short video that explains simple form of the technology for anyone who hasn't seen this or doesn't know a lot about it. And then Doria will introduce our wonderful guest. And I need to introduce my co-host. So Doria Stewart is my wonderful co-host. She's a nurse in Atlanta. And Doria, I'm going to let you give your testimonial and just tell us about ASEA and what it's meant to you and what you were doing when you became involved with ASEA.
Okay, thank you, Cindy. So I was introduced to ASEA Redox by a very dear friend that is a dentist here in my area. And he knew that I was open to other forms of modalities of healing. And so I said, okay, I'll look at it. I didn't quite understand the science. So it was kind of deep for me, but I trusted my friend and looked at it. And I think what really grabbed my attention was a couple things. The video that you're going to be seeing shortly, as Cindy presents it, is this a little cartoon character type video that goes into what redox signaling molecules is. So it really, I was able to understand it better by even that little cartoon. But I think the Genesis video, and if a lot of you have not seen that yet, I really encourage you, for those of you that have been invited on a Zoom, to see that, because being in the healthcare field for over 40 years, I had not seen anything like this. And I'm very thankful that the founder of the company said no to the principle of the money versus, just saying yes to the people, because I really believe if they had said yes to a pharmaceutical company that was looking at this, we wouldn't even be on this Zoom this evening. So I'm very thankful that, he said yes to the people, because it really is, helping a lot of individuals. For me personally, I didn't have any major health challenges. And I say that, I probably was in denial because I dealt with a lot of joint discomfort because of being on my nurse, being on the floor for so many hours, 12-hour shifts. So once I started taking the ASEA Redox in the liquid form, the molecules, I thought, gosh, I feel really good. I could work, two 12-hour shifts. And the next day, I didn't have to take time to recover. I sleep better. I have much more flexibility and endurance. I can do things. I'm 67 years old. I'm still working as a nurse. I love nursing. I don't know when I'm going to quit, but it enables me to carry out the duties of my tasks that I have to do. And it's very physical. I'm a recovery room nurse right now. So I love redox. I'll always take it. I'll take it the rest of my life. And I'm very thankful. I wouldn't have met Cindy or Dr. Marian Sides or some of the other wonderful people that are on this Zoom had it not been for ASEA. And it's a culture. It's a culture of the people. And we're all on a mission to share this with as many people as we possibly can. So thank you, Cindy.
Thank you, Doria. And I'm a nurse here in Nashville. So when I was introduced to this technology, I had some autoimmune challenges that I was dealing with. And so over time, I've been on the product about 4 years. So over time, I noticed a lot of things improving, and I'm no longer on any medication related to those challenges. But I was also drawn to it because it was native to your body, natural with no side effects. And I was looking for something more holistic because I had gone the traditional route and I actually had to go to the third provider to get diagnosed correctly because mainstream doctors were missing it because they weren't running the right labs. So anything that can help your body that has no side effects and it's non-toxic, I mean, that's just, you don't even have to question that. So I was really drawn to that and the fact that this could be a nice little side business. And with this, I feel like I'm able to help more people and reach more people than I can in the field of nursing, because with nursing, you can't even give a patient an aspirin without a doctor's order. So it's very different. But just really excited to have everyone on tonight. And I'm going to start with our short video, and then we'll turn it over to Doria and Dr. Sides to finish out. So hold on for me one moment.
The human body is an extraordinary creation, made up of between 50 and 100 trillion cells, each one performing just the right function in just the right place at just the right time. Your cells themselves are amazing. Each one is a bustling metropolis of activity, a city that never sleeps. Every second of every day, your cells work tirelessly to keep your body healthy and strong. One of the major functions of your cells is the production of fuel. This fuel, known as ATP, is actually created by workers inside the cell called mitochondria. Mitochondria are so vital and important that a single cell can have thousands of these little workers. In fact, it is estimated that half of the dry weight of the human body is made up of mitochondria. Mitochondria do more than supply the body with the fuel it needs. They also play a key role in cell signaling and communication, coordinating the actions and activities of your cells. When you think about it, this kind of signaling is essential for health and life, since it is the foundation for things like cell development, tissue repair, and immune functions. Without the ability to communicate and coordinate the activities of cells, we would fall apart pretty quickly. The mitochondria's role in this vital communication system lies in the fact that they make special molecules, called redox signaling molecules. The mitochondria make these molecules by the trillions, every second of every day. Good thing, too, because without these redox signaling molecules, life itself would be impossible. You need these molecules to protect the health of your cells, to detect threats and damage, and to repair or replace injured cells. Unfortunately, as we get older, our ability to make redox signaling molecules diminishes. Ever notice that bumps and bruises that disappear in no time on a child seem to last forever on someone who is elderly? The cells in that older person simply aren't communicating as efficiently as they did when they were younger, and so cells and tissues take longer to repair themselves. And all because the body isn't making as many redox signaling molecules as it used to. But what if there were a way to replenish your supply of these amazing little molecules? What if there were, in essence, a redox signaling supplement? How would your life change if you had a supply of redox signaling molecules like you did when you were younger? Such a product would be incredible, but how would you go about making it? Well, a good start would be to understand how the mitochondria in your trillions of cells make these vitally important molecules. Your cells are little bags of salt water. The mitochondria and other organelles inside the cell float around in this salt water. It's not surprising, then, that when the mitochondria need building blocks for creating redox signaling molecules, they use something they have plenty of: salt water. It works out pretty great because salt water is made up of just 4 atoms: the sodium and chloride atoms in salt and the hydrogen and oxygen atoms in water. The mitochondria pull apart these saltwater molecules, then recombine the atoms in different configurations. The new combinations are, guess what? Redox signaling molecules. Things happen so fast inside the cells that these redox signaling molecules are manufactured in just fractions of seconds. And they get used quickly too. And if the cells don't need the redox signaling molecules right away, the atoms convert back into salt water, ready to be used again and again by the mitochondria. It's a very efficient system. So to make a redox signaling supplement outside of living cells, it makes sense to start with the same building blocks: salt and water. That's just what a company called ASEA does. We begin with a pure, pristine saline solution. Then, using a highly protected and patented electrochemical process, we break apart the bonds that hold the sodium, chloride, hydrogen, and oxygen atoms together. These free-floating atoms are then recombined in new configurations, and voila! Redox signaling molecules. Of course, the process sounds a lot easier than it really is. Your mitochondria make redox signaling molecules in fractions of seconds. ASEA takes 3 full days to make the same molecules. But the real triumph for ASEA came in overcoming the issue of stability. Remember that redox signaling molecules made in the cell get used right away or else turn back into salt water? That's because redox signaling molecules are very reactive. They want to get busy and start working right now. This reactive nature makes it difficult to keep these molecules around for long. They want to get used or they'll revert back into salt water. Fortunately, after countless hours of research and experimentation, the scientists at ASEA reached a breakthrough. They discovered a process for pairing these highly reactive molecules into balanced sets, stabilizing redox signaling molecules outside of living cells. This really is something extraordinary. Molecules that last just microseconds inside the cell have a shelf life of over a year in a bottle of ASEA. Amazing! So what does ASEA, the world's first redox signaling supplement, mean for you? Simply put, it's an entirely new approach to health. Every other health and wellness product, vitamins, exotic juices, everything, tries to help the body by giving it something foreign, something the body has to try to figure out how to use. Not so with ASEA. The molecules in ASEA are native to the body. See, your body already knows how to take care of itself. Your cells actually make the tools they need, and for the first time in history, you can replenish and reinforce those tools. You can, in fact, give your body more of the native molecules it needs to take care of its own health. ASEA is more than a mere supplement. It is a foundational approach to health and wellness, a fundamental shift in how we take care of ourselves. So are you wondering just what ASEA can do for you? There's one powerful way to find out. Talk to the person who shared this message with you. Get your hands on a case of ASEA and feel for yourself the effects of the world's first and only redox signaling supplement. Your life and your approach to your own health will never be the same.
About that. Okay, let me go back. Stop sharing. Okay. One more let in. Okay, we want to thank our special guest tonight, and we had Dr. Sides on earlier in the year, but Dory and I were still learning this process, and I did not realize I didn't save the video properly. So once I deleted the Zoom link, I deleted the video, even though I, quote, emailed it to myself thinking it was saved. So now we've learned a lot. So she was pleasant enough or very gracious enough to come back and do another Zoom with us. So I'm going to turn this over to Dory and let her introduce our guest appropriately.
Thank you, Cindy. So I have great honor to introduce you to Dr. Marian Sides. Dr. Marian lives in Illinois. She has 4 adult children. She has 5 grandchildren. She loves to travel and spend time with her grandchildren. So I just want to give you a little personal touch on who she is. She also is, even with her bio that's like 3 pages long, that would probably take most of the time on our Zoom, she's a very humble woman, big heart. Both Cindy and I have met her in our meetings, throughout the United States with ASEA, and she's a true blessing to many. So I'm just going to read her bio because it's very impressive here. I want you to understand who we have on this evening and to honor her and for what she's done as I read this. So Dr. Marian Sides is an independent consultant and educator who has mentored and coached adult learners in both civilian and military arenas. She graduated from the University of Chicago in 1984 with a PhD in higher education in the Division of Social Sciences. Prior to that, she received her master's degree as a clinical nurse specialist from Loyola, I can never say that, University in Chicago, and a BSN from DePaul University in Chicago. She is the founder and president of Education Enterprises Incorporated, a corporate member of ASMA, which she can explain to us what that is in a little bit, in 1983. Through the years, she's instructed, coached, and tutored over 10,000 healthcare professionals to successfully pass their licensure examinations and secure meaningful employment. Shortly after completing her graduate education, she began teaching as an adjunct clinical professor and worked concurrently as a clinical nurse. She joined the United States Air Force in 1978 and served in Operation Desert Storm, was commander of the 63rd 928th Aeromedical Evacuation Squadron, and retired in the year of 2004 at the rank of colonel. Throughout her career, she flew over 1,800 hours in C-130 aircraft and aeromedical evacuation missions in peacetime and in war, including 26 combat sorties, providing in-flight care to 300 POWs and Allied wounded. She's earned numerous awards, honors, and military decorations. Dr. Sides joined the Aerospace Medical Association in 1982, and shortly after she entered the military. Her experience has been a labor of love for over 40 years. I'm not finished now. She was inducted into the International Academy for Aviation and Space Medicine as an academician in 2011 in Singapore. In 2003, she formed an international coalition of scientists from around the world paired with aerospace students, residents, and nurses that investigated cardiovascular risk of spaceflight with their implications for the future of space travel. A second international initiative orchestrated by Dr. Marian Sides on the I'm not sure if I'm saying this right, terrestrial application of space medicine research was published in the Journal of Aerospace Medicine and Human Performance in 2021. So I think we all need to salute her because of her work, in Desert Storm. We honor you and everything that you've done for our country. So it's pretty amazing. So to get on the SCA redox piece of this, so I want you to go back and share with us, and maybe to help us to understand what piqued your interest about this technology with your background.
Well, first of all, Doria, thank you. And thank you, Cindy, for hosting this platform. I think it's one of the most interesting that I've seen. And I watch it every Tuesday. And if I can't watch it, I watch plays, and you're doing an awesome job, and your contribution is to be commended. So thank you so much. So where was I when Sia crossed my path? Well, Barb Schultz to Sia, and this happened, I'm not real sure, somewhere around 2015, and I had retired officially 3 careers: the military, my professorship as an educator in university settings, and as a nurse. And I didn't abandon any of the 3. I continued working, but the only thing different is I didn't get paid because I was officially retired. And I continued on with my 3 careers, and I had a very, very full plate. I would work sometimes 90 hours a week, and I loved every bit of it. And it was very difficult for me to even think of giving up anything. And when Barb called me, asked me to take a look at this, I did. And it didn't take me long at all to know that this is probably something I would do. But how could I do it now? And the answer was I couldn't. So I was a guest for several years and I would get on some of the calls, the charge-up calls, which is what they were called back then. Barbara and I would talk, and Barbara would drip on me and just send me information, which I said, keep it coming, because I want to read it all. I want to hear it all. I want to know it all. But I can't do this right now. And so she did that, and I would talk to Jerry White a few times, and we had great conversations. And then in 2016, I became a customer. And I was a customer for about 3 years. And then I decided I really should get started, even though I didn't have much time. I started very part-time. And my thinking along this path of being a guest and then a customer, I learned a lot about how the redox technology worked and how it would help us and how it did help us. So that was really a good way to start, because that's the way I had to start. And so my thinking was, how do I incorporate the skill sets that I cultivated over the years into this company? And what are my skill sets? And what are my strengths? And how do I actually best influence the future? And that was my thinking. And I want to share that, because I would like you all to emulate this pattern of thought. And whenever you reach any juncture, and not only yourselves, but for the people we bring into this business, into this company, it's very important that we respect the fact that you might have hit them at a time when they were just as busy as I was. And that happens often. And so it's not an easy decision to say, okay, sure, I'll start this business. We have to respect that they may need to think about it. And it would be nice if we could actually guide them and coach them along that process and let them take the time that's necessary. I'm an educator at heart. I love teaching. And whenever I share information and have a platform like this, I want to know that what I'm sharing is going to be useful to the people who are listening, and not just that I'm telling them things. So that's my thinking behind why I wanted to share my thinking of how I made this decision. So the 3 careers: military, professorship, and a nurse. What were my skills? Well, I got leadership skills from the military, and both on the active side and also on the education organizational side, as I joined the Aerospace Medical Association almost immediately. And I've been with that organization for all these years. And I truly love it all. I love research. I'm a research scientist. I work with space medicine all around the world. I have many friends around the world in space aviation medicine. And I continue to be involved with a lot of projects. So leadership. And what about leadership? Why is leadership important? And I began to think about what I could offer in terms of leadership. I love strategic planning. I've helped organizations reconstruct themselves, re-engineer, change how they do business, create strategic plans, missions, visions. This is what we need to do for our company to fall in line with what the company has put forth as their mission, their vision. And I decided, oh yes, I'm very much in alignment with them. Also, in terms of clinical operations, where was my skill? I have been awarded many times for my work. And I think it's important for us to accept the fact that we should embrace our skills. And I want you to do that as well. Know what you're good at, because if you're good at something, you've not done it alone. You've had a whole team that's helped you get to where you are. And therefore, we have an obligation to pay back. So all these years where I've continued to stay with my military, my education enterprises, and the organizations that I've been with, is because I am giving back. I've tutored thousands and thousands of people who have failed their licensure examinations, have challenges in learning, and help them get through to become who they are. I'm actually wearing this bracelet that we got at convention. And I really love the core values of our company: believe, belong, and become. Believe, belong, and become. my philosophy is to help every person that I come in contact with to become the best person that they can become, starting with myself. When I think about my leadership activities, I think the most memorable decision and the most memorable leadership, and others can match that, but I want to pull this one out because it was one that happened back in 1991 when we landed in Riyadh. We were taken to the command post, and the commanding officer of the theater said, I need someone to take lead and to take command of all airback operations in this theater and dedicated to Saudi air crew. Who's going to do this? I will, sir. I raised my hand and I said, I will, sir. Who's going to be my team? And he says, I don't know. I says, well, how many patients do you think we're going to get? He says, I don't know. I said, well, when do you think we'll start? He says, I don't know. Do you want it or don't you? I said, yes, sir, I do. And I jumped into that. So what does that have to do with ASEA? Well, that particular event had nothing to do with ASEA, but what underlies that? What was it about the fact that I could say, yes, sir? I guess I'll say I was courageous. I'm a courageous person. I'm a risk taker, a calculated risk taker. I'm competent. I knew what I would need to do, and I knew I could do it. We practiced it many, many years. Yes, Frank, didn't we? Yes, Donna, didn't we? In AirVac, we practiced for 15 years before we actually had a live patient in combat. And so what else? I'm compassionate. Now, are all these behaviors, these qualities important in ASEA? I said, absolutely they are. So I checked the box off for that. I said, yes, I'm qualified and I think I belong here. The next career I retired was my professorship. As I said, I'm an academic. I love teaching. And what do we do at ASEA? We are educators. We offer the opportunity to people and we help them understand what ASEA Redox does and what it requires to become an associate. And we guide them, we coach them, we advise them, we help them. And we are educators. So that fit perfectly. And then the third, the nurse. When you're a nurse, I was a nurse way back 1960s. Once a nurse, always a nurse. But what I didn't like about what I saw in healthcare right now is that there are too many patients, too many people on too many medications, and nobody's really watching the interactions of these medications and how they're performing in the body. So when I saw ASEA Redox and the fact that it's a naturopathic native to the body, we make it every single day, and all we're doing is replenishing what the mitochondria can't do to keep up with the needs of our bodies. I said, this is a perfect place to be. And so with those three careers, I just want to add one more. I am a network marketer from the get-go. I started in the early 90s, and I thought then, and I think now, that network marketing is the best business model that ever came onto this planet. I've always thought that. And when you know what you know, you can stand behind it. And when you believe in something, you can stand behind it, you can support it, you can promote it. I believe that network marketing offers something that no other business model can offer. We can play catch up. We can help people play catch up if they'd ever established a financial plan. Do you know that we have 76.4 baby boomers? And do you know that only 50% of them have saved anything for retirement? This is a market segment that's out there that needs us. They need us for financial health, but I'm sure they need us for physical health and mental health. We can offer all of that. We work holistically, and this is what I love about ASEA. There's another market segment out there, the not the baby boomers, I just said them, but the largest segment, I don't know who can help me with that.
Is it the Generation Z
Gen
or
X.
The other
Gen
one.
X?
Anyway, the younger generation, let's just say it there.
Uh-huh.
A lot with the younger generation who want to do something, but they don't know what it is. They don't believe in themselves, and this is what the literature says, and they don't have the confidence. And so here's another entire market that we can help. And it goes on and on and on. Everybody needs this. So I wanted to share that as how I decided that ASEA was what I needed to do. So in 2019, I came on as an associate, very part-time, because I'm still doing all these other things. But what my goal is right now is to, by the end of the year, I will be giving up the clinical practice, because I am still doing clinical practice. And you can't do everything, right? I will give that up. And then I am almost giving up the coaching and the independent teaching. And I will then be doing my aerospace medicine, the International Academy, continue with it. And I'm expanding the amount of time I'm putting in with ASEA. And I want to again thank Barb Stoltz, who was the person who brought me into ASEA, and her patience and waiting all those years before I got started. And Dr. Philippe Pouzan, he was my very first person as an associate, and Diana Pedersen, and then Donna Shimoleski. Wonderful team, and we're growing every day. We have associates and customers in at least 6 countries, and we'll continue to expand. So I will segue now into I've had a lot of benefits from taking ASEA myself, and I think the one I'll share that is probably most profound is that right around the time that COVID came out, I was told that I had 2 autoimmune challenges, and my inflammation markers were off the chart. And I was told that I should take high doses of prednisone. I didn't mean to say the word, a steroid, and another drug that was a chemotherapy drug, and that we wouldn't know for about a year whether it was going to help me. And I thought, well, that doesn't sound like a good plan. I don't think I want to do that plan. And this was at the time of COVID, as I said, and they couldn't do the biopsy of the temporal nerve that they needed to do to confirm one of those diagnoses. So that's why they weren't going to know how this was going to play out. And I thought, well, why would I take a drug for a year if we don't even know if I have this? I think I did. I do think I did have it. But I said to my physician, could we negotiate? I said, on this, I am taking a naturopathic product. It's redox signaling molecules. And I'm taking the basic, the 2 ounces twice a day. I would like to bump that up to 14 ounces a day and not take this medication. I said, what I would do is to take a small dose of the steroid, to give it a punch, so maybe we can knock this thing down, and let ASEA take over the rest of the job, and give me 90 days. And if it works, it's wonderful. And if it doesn't work, then we'll go back to the drawing board. And my doctor said, yes, we'll do that. And we monitored my labs, and within the month, I don't remember the exact date, but within the month, it was probably 2 to 3 weeks, my labs were normal. They had come from being off the chart high down to normal. with 14 ounces a day. And I never took those other medicines. And let's see, November 2021 was the last time I had taken the tiny dose of the steroid. So that was the last time, and my labs have been normal ever since, and I don't have any symptoms. But I did have full-blown symptoms of 2 disorders and labs off the chart. What I'd like to do with that testimonial is just align it with the Torrey Labs research that was done back in 2017, I believe. And what happened with that study was, in an 8-week study, ASEA redox was shown to activate 5 important gene signaling pathways by up to 31%. What that meant was that what the gene process turned on the switch down at the DNA level and helped to improve the body function in 5 major areas. They were immune system, hormone modulation, digestive system, cardiovascular, and inflammatory response. So the connection with my autoimmune challenge, and Cindy, yours as well, since you mentioned that earlier, that our inflammation markers were out of range. And this is one of the 5 major key areas that DNA has switched on to improve the performance up to 31%. And that's exactly what happened. Now, when this study was done, it was an 8-week research study, observational study with 60 subjects and 2 groups. 25 were given redox signaling molecules, 8 ounces a day. 25 were given the placebo. So this was a blind placebo controlled study. And the saline, they were given saline, which is what redox started out with. It was sodium chloride, saline. And that's what they drank for the 8 weeks. And then 10 of that 60, so we got 25, 25, and then the control group was 10, and they got nothing. And there was no change in the profiling of the lab work, because they did blood draws on them. It's the same as we had blood draws, 2 of us. And so the ASEA redox did help us. The only thing that I did differently, and we actually support the study, and we are in alignment with exactly what the study shows, is that these individuals, after the 8 weeks, had improved their bodily function by between 20 and 30%. And I think that's extremely profound. There's a lot more that they've learned. We also know that this was a third-party study, and it was partnered with ASEA and FDA regulated. We also know that since this study of 2017, 2 other universities were so flabbergasted at this result, they could not believe it, because first of all, they couldn't even believe that anyone could stabilize redox signaling molecules, which of course they found out that you did it, you actually did it. But these 2 universities, one was in Sydney, Australia, and one was in England. They replicated this study and found that it was true, that there was that difference, that improvement. So the doctors who actually won Nobel Prizes for, there's like 6 of them, for different aspects of the redox studies, they said that this discovery of the stabilization and the findings that we're seeing now with the research that's coming out is even more impactful than the discovery of DNA itself. And so we have something that is, it's just changing the landscape of healthcare all around the world. And I believe that I've answered my question, how can I best influence the future, is to be on board and continue with this company. And I am super excited about the future and everything that's happening. This is the place to be in my books, and I will share it as long as I can. So I think I'll just stop with that and go back to see if there's other questions that you might have.
Okay, so I have one other question. So, as with your background and impressive background in your field, how hard has it been to share this with your peers? Because, like with Cindy and I, we feel like, both, I'm still working, I have a conflict of interest. I can't share this with, my physicians or even my patients. And I know Cindy's kind of blocked that way too. So has that been a hindrance for you to share this with your peers?
I haven't really gone a full force in that direction yet, because it has to be done in the right way. And I'm thinking that the way that would be the best approach would be to focus on the technology, because we're a science-driven organization. Both of my organizations are, and perhaps to develop a panel with a focus on redox technology by itself and not touch the business. Because we're very, very conservative in terms of conflict of interest. And so it's something that we'll work through. Yeah.
Yes, gotcha. Yeah. If I feel led, I will. If I feel a strong leading to share it, then I do, despite the consequences that I might face. But thank you so much. I appreciate that. So Cindy, you have something like to add or ask?
I just have a couple of things. And like Doria is, and like you too, Dr. Sides, it's very tough. You can't obviously cross that conflict of interest, but I'm a hospice nurse. So that's really a struggle for me, because I see patients at the end of life. And I'm not saying this would turn everybody's lives around. And again, this does not diagnose, treat, or cure anything. But I feel like a lot of the patients I've had in the past could have benefited from this. There are patients that do come off of hospice, I mean, without redox. So I feel like this could be, of some help at some point, but that's what breaks my heart doing this. So since you can't do that, how do you share? How do you grow your business?
I have a lot of networks. As I said, I've been in network marketing since 1990, and I love network marketing. As I said, I think it's the best business model out there. It's relationship marketing. And as a nurse, this is one of our skills as a nurse. This is communication, compassion, caring, loving to help people. And I have clients right now who are in hospice. And I have many other connections as well. I mean, somebody's going to bring everybody in, and I think I'm still working more market in that respect. Yeah, so there's a lot of people, and we don't have a shortage of candidates to bring in and help out. Yeah, I think Barb has her hand up there.
Okay, I didn't know if you were ready to answer other people's questions or not. Cindy, do you have some more questions?
No, I'm good, Barb. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, it's an honor to have you in our team, and I'm glad you let me drip on you for so many years. After 30 years of being in this industry, I just wanted to ask you, in your mind, what sets ASEA Corporate apart from other companies that you've been a part of?
Well, I would say that there are other companies I've been with that have a lot of good qualities. So I think that ASEA has them all. And so what are those all? They have the integrity that I would want, that I want this company to have. I feel like they are really true to the cause, and they operate with the right spirit. Their integrity is pristine. I've never seen anything quite this pristine and composite, where they totally engulf righteousness and doing everything right. I mean, the way that this product is produced, I mean, they haven't missed one beat as far as making sure that it's quality controlled. And the ethos, which has been explained by Tyler Norton, the son of Virtus, is again just brilliant and heartfelt. And the people that they bring on are of the same mold. Their core values are all that it could be. And they're believable. They really are. And when you're with Tyler Norton or any of them, especially Tyler, you feel like there's no one else around. He makes you feel like you're the only person. And he is just that way. And I think that you all would agree who've met him. So the product that we have, I mean, it represents the brilliance of the founders. Virtus, he knew that we had what we had. We just had to have the research play it out. And so I believe in this company with every fiber of my body. And I would have no problem sharing what we offer. Well, first of all, I understand the science. And that's another benefit. And that's another reason I feel I should be doing this. I taught adult nursing at the universities, several universities. And I taught for many years. And I knew the mitochondria way before almost I could pronounce it. And so I understood it right away. I didn't have to see a lot of videos. I understood what it does. And the fact that it was stabilized like it was absolutely amazing. And I feel very fortunate. And I believe that also that this was, God is involved, in our Lord and Savior is involved in all of this. And it's just a wonderful opportunity.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
I wanted to mention, well, if you're all thinking about a question, I meant the 10,000 hours was in one of the write-ups of the award that I received, the Founders Award, the Lewis Founders Award of the Aerospace Medical Association, which was given globally to one person. And I was fortunate to receive that in 2022. But a big part of that award was based on my mentorship with many of the members of the association, bringing young scientists from just starting out in medical school and now being the renowned global lung transplant surgeon ever. I mean, to go from that to that, and to know that I could have been a part of that. I believe that we have this kind of an opportunity here, and we can start doing our 10,000 hours by helping patients, helping people who aren't patients, but just citizens anywhere in the world need this. Everybody needs this, because after we reach age 20-ish, our body can't keep up with the demand, and we need to replenish. And as educators, we can help people understand why this is true. We just need, everybody needs this. So we have an opportunity to help so many people. And when I think about some of the recognitions that I've had, I mean, we haven't seen anything yet, because the recognition that we're going to be able to bring to ourselves, and we can go to bed at night and say, I did this today. And thank you, God, for helping me by putting this person in my path. There are a lot of other testimonials that we have in our organization. And one of them that I wanted to share was one of our associates' father was 90 years old and diagnosed with dementia, and progressed to a very serious dementia where he wasn't able to talk at all. And he was giving his father 2 ounces twice a day, and then bumped it up to 8 ounces. And he was on 8 ounces for about 90 days. And now he wasn't talking. And he had put him on, his son had put him on the phone with me, and he said hi to me, but my name was slurred, and it was very slurred, but he was trying to say my name. So he wasn't talking. But after the period of time that he was taking the 8 ounces, he walked up the steps one day and he says, Alan, when you come down here and go back up, don't shut this door, it'll lock, and Tony and I won't be able to get back up. He made that whole sentence. And we were just dumbfounded, and he continued to talk. So that was quite an amazing testimonial, and he did nothing other different than that.
Incredible. So Marian, I'm going to call you Marian because we know each other personally. So we have the ASEA Redox, which is our flagship product. What about the other products? Like, have you had an experience with Renew 28?
Oh my goodness, yes. A lot of experience with Renew 28. Myself and many of our customers on Renew 28 with lots of different discomfort issues. And we found that most of the time their discomfort was relieved after the application 3 times in 5 minutes. And in some cases, they've managed it with that. And injuries with lacerations, stops bleeding right away. There's one example. It was, I'm trying to think if they used they did reuse docs. This is somebody I spoke to at the convention, and she came up to me, and I didn't know her, but she must have seen a video or something, and asked if she could interview me, and could she record the interview. And in the process, I learned more, I think, than she did in this whole thing. And then she asked me later if she could have a 3-way with her mom. But back to her, she has 2 children, and when this is some time ago, she got an ear infection, and her eardrum ruptured, and the doctor, her ENT doctor, put her on an antibiotic, and he said, I want you also to take another product. He told her he wanted her to take ASEA and put drops in her ear, and then to put the Renew 28 around her carotids and around her ears. She came back in 1 week, and her infection was cleared up. There was no scar tissue, but I think that the infection cleared so rapidly, it didn't have time to formulate any scar tissue. And she was totally recovered. And that was a combination of the 2. And the other thing, her mother said, whatever you're doing, you just keep doing it, because she was in a postpartum depression for 1 year and nothing was helping her. But when she started the Redox, she popped right out of it.
Never get tired of hearing these testimonies. They're just wonderful, aren't they? Yeah. All right. Does anyone else have any questions for Dr. Marian Sides? Dr. Marian Sides? Don't be shy. Dr. Philippe, do you have a comment? He's smiling. You need to unmute so we can hear you.
If I start now, we are here tomorrow morning with coffee, black coffee and croissant, because I have so much to share about my dear friend Marian. I want to say that now, she saved my life. In 2020, I ended up with a big burnout. She knows the reasons of that. I tend to ride many horses, as she does, but she has been a better rider than me. And right when you ride several horses at the same time, it takes a lot of energy, and you end up, if you don't watch well, you end up totally burnt out. Well, Marian, for a year, patiently, twice a week, connected with me, says, did you try? Did you give a shot at it? And guess what she was talking about? ASEA. And it took a year for me to make a decision. We have to say as a kind of excuse, that I was so terrified by anything stranger to me, because for the simple reason that everything I knew was throwing me off very severely. So guess about something I wouldn't know. It was terrifying. And finally, I gave in. And guess what? Here we are today. And she's an old friend of mine. And, you were looking for the word millennial, dear, no? The millennials, when you were looking for the body of people besides the baby boomers, millennials, they are.
Millennials, thank you. That's what
This is it, yeah.
millennials.
That was it, yeah. This is what I was, yeah. So anyway, I wanted to thank you for giving me that opportunity to share this experience, because we are different. We have been working on many areas together. And when you look at Marian, you couldn't guess who is behind the kitten you smile at. She's a lioness. She's a tigress. She's a builder. She's an interplanetary constructor, and so forth. And I am proud and very moved to have been part of her friends. And we are walking and journeying together from now on.
We are. We definitely are. It's going to be a beautiful future. Thank you, Philippe, Dr.
And thank you, Marian, for everything you said tonight. It is so little compared to what you can say, but it is a good start. It was well done. Congrats. And thank you to our hostess. Yeah.
Thank you. I think Kirk Woolhater, I think Karen, or is it Kirk Woolhater, had his hand up? Do you see?
Yeah, I see.
Okay. Kirk, go
Yeah.
ahead and speak.
Okay, good evening, and so great to hear your story and your journey, and to hear from Dr. Philippe. I didn't get to see him at convention, and I did not get to get introduced to you, Doctor. But I, it was the convention was such an inspiration. To be there, and to be able to know that, continuing my journey with ASEA, and I did have a complication last week with gallstones, but I'm just up in my ASEA, and I don't know all the complications of gallstones. But I don't want to have my gallbladder removed. I just keep keep up in my ASEA, and I don't know all the complications that can be created from gallstones. But I do. I have a follow up at UT Southwestern, but I'm gonna make them do another CT scan before they just go and remove my gallbladder, because I don't, it's there for a reason, and I haven't, enough other complications. I just and if anybody has any kind of a testimony or any experience with what ASEA can do for gallstones.
Well, let me comment on that. First of all, we don't diagnose, treat, or cure anything, and we don't need to be doctors to share this with anyone. But I want to make sure that everybody understands that when you have an acute medical issue, you're going to need a doctor, a Western medicine doctor, and you do follow the guidelines of your doctors. That's very important. Since ASEA is native to the body, it isn't going to hurt anything. It's only going to enable your body to work better all the way around. So keep taking your ASEA and stay close with your doctor in an acute phase of any medical problem. And we'll pray for you that everything works in the positive direction, because ASEA is very powerful, and in itself, it's going to definitely help every time you swallow. You know that those communications, they're going to send those molecules where your body needs it the most. And if it's your gallbladder, they're going to send those molecules there and reinforce the healthy molecules.
Dr. Sides, I don't know if you've heard Kirk and Karen's story, but Kirk and Karen were on our nurse talk a few weeks or months ago. And also that's on YouTube, but also Alan Noble just recently interviewed both of them. So they did their testimonies separate. And Kirk has had an amazing journey and some remarkable results with taking the redox. So just wanted to thank you, Kirk, for coming on.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Marita has the question, I believe, and then there was a question in the chat. Marita, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. I was
Go ahead.
just
Go ahead.
clapping my hands. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, ladies, for doing the nurse talk. Thank you, Dr. Marian. Visited with you at convention. Outstanding. Wonderful people that are in ASEA. Hugs and love to everybody.
So I think there was a question in the chat, and we don't speak on diagnoses, but you were asking about testimonies about arthritis. Can you share, Dr. Marian, what arthritis is and what it's caused from, and maybe that'll help her to understand how this product may help.
Inflammation is the fundamental problem with arthritis, and it is complicated by a few other processes where our arteries and vessels get stiff as we grow older, and that can enhance the whole pathophysiology. And exercise can help, but medication, you need to be under the care of your physician to determine what's the right pathway of treatment for that.
Thank you.
Joy, do you see any other questions?
I do not. I don't think so. Did you have anything else you wanted to add, Marian?
Yeah, and I had a few notes here, and I wanted to just share. There's a link that's on YouTube that I recommend. It's Our Genes Listen to Our Beliefs. And I think it's very illuminating how our genes listen to our beliefs. If you Google that, it'll come up with a different title. So, and it's an interview by Dr. Mark Hyman of another doctor. And it's really hard for people in general to understand how our genes can do whatever they do, because it's sort of like a behind the scenes underground process, and it's hard to believe it. And he explains very nicely how that can happen, that our genes could actually listen to our beliefs and do something. There's a chemical transformation that occurs. And that part is where I think it will help us to understand why that could actually happen.
And Dr. Sides, I believe that so much because our thought processes and our mindset does affect your health. I mean, if you're depressed, if you're negative all the time, compared to if you're happy, like the Bible says, joy and laughter doeth good like a medicine. And just it does. It depends on what you're focusing on, what you're thinking on all the time. I truly believe that creates or changes the neurotransmitters in your brain, which again leads to healthier life.
Exactly. That's very well put.
Mhm.
Well, that's important for us. And I think just reflecting back on my initial comments, I really feel it's important if we look at our bracelet, believe is the first of the 3 B's. We need to believe in ourselves. And the way to believe in ourselves is to understand ourselves and to understand our strengths. This is what it's not a secret, but I have 100% success on every student that I work with who has failed exams, no matter if they failed it 1 time or 10 times. It doesn't matter. But it starts with their self-esteem and their sense of self-worth and their sense of believing in themselves. And when you believe in yourself, when somebody comes into our business and they feel inadequate, that they aren't going to be able to get people to join or get customers, you have to build confidence. And so the very first thing to do in building confidence is to believe in who you are right then and there. And the strengths you have may not be ASEA strengths, they may be character strengths. And believe in your wins over time. Your wins. And your win could be maybe you make a good quiche pie. Maybe you are a good quarterback in football. Maybe you wrote a good term paper and your instructor and professor wrote at the bottom, you have powerful skills, use them wisely. You should swallow up all of that positiveness and put your wins on the wall and make a vision board and show how effective you are as a person. And then go from there. And you will find that you come across much more confident because you are a whole person. And all of those wins from the past are a part of who you are now. And you carry that all forward. Whether your win is a kindergarten win, doesn't matter. It's who you are.
Amen.
Dr. Marian, you're so inspiring. I appreciate that. That's so motivating. That's what we all need to hear. And we need to tell ourselves that every day.
Yes.
Well, if there are no more questions, we're going to wrap this up. We thank you so much again, Dr. Sides, for coming on again. And this time we'll have it recorded and we'll send you the recording. So if
It'll
anyone,
also be on our YouTube channel, Redox Nurse Talk. So if our previous recordings that we've done since, we do have, since we missed the people in January, that's who we're having back on. But go to Redox Nurse Talk on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is Redox Nurse Talk, and you'll see about 22 videos that we have posted.
okay. We're asking everyone to get back to the people that invited you to this video if you're new, and they can answer any questions you have. And Doria, you want to tell us who our next guest is next week?
Yeah, so we're blessed to have Cindy Buck on our on Nurse Talk next week. So Cindy Buck will be with us.
Okay. We appreciate everyone coming, and y'all have a very blessed night. And we'll see you next week.
Good night.
Thank you, Marian.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.